What's going on, guys? Welcome to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And today we have an exciting show to get to. We have Niners, Giants, A's, Cal, Stanford football, San Jose State, 3C2A, and a whole lot more. But guys, today, Sunday was a troubling day. The Niners fall to the LA Disabled Rams, 27-24. We're going to talk about that and what they did wrong to cause this loss in a game they should have won. We're going to talk about the San Francisco Giants, who recently have caught fire, but again, they are out, mathematically out of the playoffs, but looking forward to next season, what we can be in store for. The Oakland A's are on their way out of Oakland, and it's not being received very well by Oakland fans or by Bay Area sports fans. We're going to talk about that. And on top of that, we got all kinds of college scores, 3C2A scores. It's going to be a fun, action-packed show. But let's get started with this show. You're watching the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So, guys, welcome to the show. You know, this past Sunday was a very, very hard Sunday for me. You know, having watched the Niners lose to the Vikings in week 2, I knew that, you know, they could bounce back, especially against a team like the Rams that was very, very disabled, had a lot of players on IR, a lot of players injured, not playing, not suiting up, and yet the Niners found a way to lose that game. I really, really, really couldn't understand how that exactly happened, but we're going to break all that down in just a second. But before we do that, make sure you follow IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and over at IE Sports Radio and that's the handle. You can follow them at all three of those locations. Follow IE Sports Radio wherever you find your podcast, maybe Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, CastBox, you name it, we're there. Check out IE Sports Radio wherever you find your podcasts. And head on over to IESportsRadio.com where you'll find all the broadcasts, all the shows, the entire selection of content that we supply over at IE Sports Radio. And while you're there, go to IESportsRadio.com and pick up some merchandise. You can get this logo right here on a shirt, on a hat, on a sweatshirt, you name it, we got it. Check out IESportsRadio.com/shop. And while you're there, also check out IESportsRadio.com/NorCal Sports Report. That's where you'll find this show right here. And you never want to miss an episode of the NorCal Sports Report. This is episode 4 of many episodes to come. So definitely check out IESportsRadio.com, especially / the NorCal Sports Report. But check out all the other shows as well, because all the shows on IE Sports Radio are fire. We offer a ton of content for everyone, for all kinds of sports fans. You can follow me over at NorCal Sports IE over on X. That's where you'll find this show's Twitter account. And you'll find me personally over at Dre Area Sports over on X, Instagram. I'll be on Facebook pretty soon, but mainly X and Instagram. And of course, subscribe to the Dre Area Sports channel over on YouTube. The channel is currently blowing up. We're over 500 subscribers now and onwards, so definitely check out Dre Area Sports. And speaking of which, guys, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to IE Sports Radio on YouTube. This channel provides so much content in terms of sports content every single day, pretty much all day long. Not to mention 3 and Out, hosted by Larry B., who set all this up. Thank you, Larry. His show is on there, so definitely check out IE Sports Radio. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by at least the end of the year. I mean, we can do that with this NFL season. So, guys, check out IE Sports Radio on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and you're going to be gain access to a ton of sports content. So definitely check that out. Okay, so where were we here? With that being said, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. This jerky is on a whole other planet. You can find them on Instagram over at Planet Jerky on Instagram, so definitely check that out. You can place an order for Planet Jerky over at planetjerky.net. That's where you'll be able to place an order directly to get some of that delicious beef jerky, the premium brisket beef jerky by Planet Jerky. This show is also brought to you by Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You can follow Seal the Deal over on Instagram at Seal the Deal _wax seals. And if you want to make a purchase of the wax seals, you can go to iesportsradio.com /Seal the Deal Wax Seals. So definitely check that out. Seal the Deal Wax Seals over on iesportsradio.com. And with that being said, let's hear a word from our sponsors, Planet Jerky.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, eSports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at @SealTheDeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, iSports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at iSports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Minutes past the hour here on the NorCal Sports Report on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe. You like and subscribe to the iSports channel over on YouTube. With the amount of content that iSports Radio puts out, We need to get this channel over 1,000 subs and let the world know how much content this channel pumps out every single day. So check out IE Sports Radio over on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Now, you're wondering, what are you talking about, Andre? We're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. Let's talk about the Niners. The Niners had a game against the LA Rams, coming off a loss from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, here's the thing, though, is that everyone said, oh, this is a game they should have won, and they probably should have won that game against the Vikings. They had every chance to win that game. But poor execution, poor special teams, and poor defense allowed the Vikings to win that game. Offensively, we played well, going against Flores' insane defense. And everybody said, well, I guess this goes to show you that Brock Purdy doesn't really have it. He's not really the guy. You know, Shanahan can't go against a good defensive coordinator, all that garbage, right? But then the Texans went up against the Vikings this week. Let me pull that up. And they got their asses kicked by the Vikings. CJ Stroud. I mean, you're talking about the NFL's new darling next to Pat Mahomes. He had a horrible game against that defense. And it goes to show you that they're not as bad as everybody thought they were. And they beat the Houston Texans 34-7. It wasn't even close. The Niners had a chance to win the game. They were in the game in the fourth quarter. The Texans didn't even stand a chance. They got blown out. And so when people say, oh, the Niners lost, well, look, they went against a team that kicked the crap out of probably one of the best teams in the AFC, up-and-coming teams in the Houston Texans. And real quick, I just want to say CJ Stroud was 20 of 31 for 215, a touchdown, 2 picks. He has 68 quarterback rating. Brock Purdy threw for over 300 yards in that game when the Niners played the Vikings. And Sam Darnold, 17 of 28 for 4 touchdowns. So it's not just the Niners. They kicked the crap out of the Texans. So it goes to show you that the Vikings were good. So I thought, okay, good. We're going up against the Rams. You know, that was then. This is now. And we're going to get a win. It's going to be a blowout. I predicted a 38-13 win for the Niners. Boy, was I fucking wrong. Why was I wrong? Because the Niners ended up losing this game 27-24 after going up 21-7 in the third quarter. And this was a microcosm of just complete debauchery of everything. Special teams, defense was non-existent. Special teams was an absolute joke, making error after error out there. Against the Vikings, they got a punt blocked. Like, how do you do that? And if you watch the film on that, they did a poor job at executing special teams. Now, the Niners went up against the Rams, right? And right off the bat, Brock Purdy is balling. He drives them down the field, touchdown. Rams, 3 and out. Niners get the ball back, right down the field, touchdown. And quickly, it was 14-0. And right now, at that point, I'm thinking, hey, it's about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. I'm thinking, dude, Niners are going to steamroll these guys. This is how they should play. But then the Rams get the ball back. And on fourth down, they run a fake punt, and they convert that into a first down. From that moment on, the Niners defense was just shell-shocked. Kyle Shanahan says, well, we actually had a pretty good idea that they were going to run that fake punt. If you knew that, then how did you lose contain on the edge? How did you give up the edge and give up that first down? And when you watch the film, I don't agree with that. They didn't know that was coming. They probably had an idea that he'd probably pull one off. The Rams would pull one off, Sean McVay, sometime in the game, but it wasn't that moment. The next time they punted, the Rams, they had the Niners were set up for the fake punt defense. Well, guess what? You were one play too late, so that didn't help out. So they convert that fourth down off the fake punt, which was just atrocious to see if you're a Niners fan. And that led to a Matthew Stafford touchdown, a touchdown pass to Kyron Williams, who did a somersault into the end zone, and it was 14-7. You thought, okay, Well, all right. But then they ended the first half in not really great fashion, but we got out of there with a 14-7 lead. Going into the third quarter, Brock leads them right down the field, touchdown, 21-7 Niners. I'm thinking, this is it. One more score, one more stop, this game's over. Boy, was I wrong. The defense turned to butter. The defense gave up third downs. And right now, the Niners are one of the worst third down defenses in the league. They cannot get the other team off the field. This led to a Kyren Williams rushing touchdown. Made it 21-14. In the fourth quarter, Jake Moody made a 26-yard field goal. People forget he actually made a field goal in this game. So they're up 24-14. You have a 10-point lead with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. With 6 minutes left, the Rams kick a field goal. Kyren Williams later on, with less than 2 minutes left, scores a touchdown, tie game. And not only that, they burned you vertically. You had 3 weapons to stop when playing against the Rams. Nick Sorensen, the Niners defensive coordinator, you need to wake up because your game plan was crap. You know, when I do these shows on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, I don't like to swear. I don't like to get mad, but this game made me mad. So, Larry, I apologize. But this game was complete and utter bullshit by the Niners. Unbelievable. They go deep to Tutu Atwell. Sorensen, your 3 biggest threats on the Rams offense is Tutu Atwell, Kyren Williams, and Matthew Stafford. And why is it that all 3 of them went off on this game? That can't happen. This team is down Cooper Kupp. It's down Puka Nacua. They're down all kinds of offensive linemen. They're down defense. They're down everybody. And they outplayed the Niners in the second half, which is unacceptable. Especially the Niners defense was atrocious. No pass rush. We got 2 sacks that came early in the game, and then we never saw a pass rush. You spent all this money on your defensive line, but yet we can't seem to get pressure consistently on the quarterback, on Matthew Stafford, who's 36 years old, who doesn't move like he used to. It's unacceptable that the Niners lost this game to an 0-2 Rams team that you could have buried at 0-3, but instead you couldn't execute properly on special teams and especially on defense. Now, the offense, they did great. Brock Purdy was 22 of 30 for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had a 137.1 quarterback rating. That's stellar. Jordan Mason, 19 rushes for 77 yards. I felt like they kind of gave up on that a little bit when it got close. Really, they should have leaned into it because they're down so many players. Your offensive line should have had their way with them like they did against the Jets in week 1, which I guess that's an aberration because they haven't been able to do that in the past 2 weeks. A team this talented should not lose games to a team that's missing this much talent. Now, granted, we're missing CMC. We're missing Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, but we have more talent throughout the roster. But at the end of the day, the Niners still could have won this game. Yes, Jake Moody missed a 55-yard field goal. That was not a gimme field goal. He could hit those, but he didn't. And then let's talk about the play that led to the bomb from Tutu Atwell, from Stafford to Tutu Atwell. You punt the ball. All you got to say is, like, watch the game. You're like, just don't give up a big return. Don't give up a big return. Don't give up a big return. And what do? They play lackluster special teams. They don't contain him. And he runs for a 38-yard return that takes him to the 50-yard line. At that point, I was like, oh, I'm done. This game is over. And then a few plays later, field goal, game over. Just unbelievable. Unacceptable loss to the Rams. Now, if this was a better team, I'd say, hey, look, they screwed this one up. But this was the team that you should have dominated from start to finish, and you didn't. And that is the problem with this game. That's the problem with the Niners right now. You're losing games early. Now, you could look at it as a good thing, like, well, at least it's early. We can still make changes to the team. But it's like you're losing games that you should have won to stack up wins early. But now you're losing because it's only going to get harder. You got Kansas City, the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Cowboys. You got a lot more harder teams coming. So they really got to figure this out. Nick Sorensen needs to be held accountable for how lackluster the defense performed. They looked unprepared. They looked slow. They had almost zero pass rush on 36-year-old Matt Stafford. The Niners have a lot of young corners in their secondary and safeties. The one thing they lack in that secondary is speed. So the Rams knew, okay, we're going to use Tutu Atwell down the field, but we're going to use him right when we really need to use it. And they did at the end of the game. So how do you eliminate the vertical, the over the top against your slow corners, your slow secondary? Is that you have to get a pass rush on the quarterback. And that's not what they did. They didn't get any pass rush. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You have Nick Bosa, Leonard Floyd, Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins. These guys are studs, and you still can't get a consistent pass rush. I don't get it. I really don't. Big ups to Juwan Jennings. He was my player of the game. He had 11 catches for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. Brandon Ayuk. Oh, here we go. Now, I talked about this. I said, hey, if Brandon Ayuk bounces back, I will praise him. But again, he did not bounce back. Again, he fell short of his expectation, and he only had 5 catches for 48 yards. This is the second week in a row that he has failed to get over 50 yards receiving. Second week in a row. It's ridiculous. He had 5 catches for 48 yards, but he was targeted 10 times. 10 times. He only caught 5? He's getting paid $30 million a year by the Niners? That's a joke. He needs to figure it out. You got Trent Williams, who's constantly getting IVs and cramps on the field. Guys, instead of holding out for all your precious money, you got to get on the field and play. These guys are out of shape. They're not in football form, and it's showing. When it comes to Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams, every game so far, it's a holding call against Trent Williams. Like, bro, aren't you the best in the league? And you're getting penalties every game. I simply don't get it. You have Jacob Cowing, a speedster that you drafted, and you don't even use him. He had 1 punt return for 9 yards. When Jacob Cowing is only getting 1 punt return, that's another problem right there because you're not turning the ball over. It's just really bad. And to see Juwan Jennings have that monster game, 11 catches, 175 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and have it be a loss, that's pathetic. The defense couldn't stop the Rams at all in the second half. The Rams just had their way with them. And this is a defense that they've spent a ton of money on. And they couldn't stop anybody. It was utterly ridiculous. So Juwan Jennings had just a monster game. Brock Purdy, like I said earlier, 22 of 30 for 292 and 3 touchdowns. This guy was balling out there. And for anyone who says, well, Brock Purdy is only good because he has a lot of talent around him. Brock Purdy just proved all you wrong. He was out there balling against the Rams. Running. He had 10 rushes for 41 yards. He played outstanding. And he absolutely dominated out there. I love what I saw from Brock Purdy. And this is another alarming stat that the Niners need to take into account. I mentioned twice already that Brock was 22 of 30. 22 of 30. He had 8 incompletion. He missed 8 passes, 8 incompletions, 22 of 30. But against the Rams, the receivers had 6 drops. So 6 of those 8 were Niner receiver drops. And I think 2 of them came from a guy that should never have even been on the field in Ronnie Bell. And why they haven't cut him yet, I don't know. If Ronnie Bell makes that catch at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, he threw him a pass that hit him right on the hands, and he just dropped it. It almost looked like he batted it down. If I was out there playing receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, I would have the same stat line as Ronnie Bell. 2 drops. Because I'm not an NFL receiver. He needs to make that catch. And the fact that they have not cut him yet is appalling. Are you telling me you're going to keep this guy on the field? The guy who's been dropping passes all summer. He's been dropping passes all year. He dropped a pass that was a gimme first down. And then he dropped a pass late in the game that would have set them up for a field goal to win the game. Unacceptable. It's just unbelievable, man. I really couldn't believe what I saw from the Niners. Started out great, ended poorly. It's awful. Awful way to end the game. It's unbelievable what they did there. I couldn't believe it. And I still can't believe they haven't cut Ronnie Bell. I would have cut him as soon as the game was over. Send a message to your team. You make mistakes like this that cost us games, you're going to get cut. And that's not all. Coming out of this game, we have an injury update. Javon Hargrave, according to Ian Rappaport, Javon Hargrave has a partially torn tricep. He will likely miss the regular season. So I guess that means he might come back if this team manages to make the playoffs. Possibly. Some would argue, we're losing one of our best defensive linemen. I don't even think so. He had 1 sack in this game. He also had 3 tackles. But he has not lived up to his contract as well. He's scheduled to make $20 million next year. Coming from the Eagles, he had a season where he had 12.5 sacks. Last season, 7. This season, I think he had 2 already. But the guy has not lived up to the expectation of his contract. And that seems to be the case with all these players. Maybe that's what happens when you have a team that's loaded with talent, is everyone thinks that everybody else is going to do the job. Brandon Ayuk looks slow, out of shape, not in sync with Brock Purdy. Trent Williams looks slow, out of shape, old, gets cramps. Like, what? And now Javon Hargrave, who was underachieving since he's been a Niner, he's going to be out for the year. Or at the very least, the regular season. And then Brock Purdy had an MRI because he had some back soreness. His MRI came back clean. I mean, people were like, he's got a sore back. That's not good. That means he's hurt. I'm like, dude, he has a sore back because he had to carry the freaking team on his back. He's like, oh, God, I'm doing all this hard work today to get my steps in. So no more Javon Hargrave. If the Niners are smart, which they typically are smart when it comes to their front office and acquisitions, I would be on the phone with the Jets right now about trying to get Hassan Reddick. You need to increase your pass rush. The Leonard Floyd, Nick Bosa combo is not really working so far. Bosa has a presence out there. He guarantee you that. But he needs somebody else to back him up. And at least if you get Hassan Reddick, you can have all 3 of them out there. You can have a combination of Reddick and Floyd, Reddick and Bosa, Reddick and Gross Matos. It just gives you another pass rusher to throw at the defense. If I'm the Niners, I make that happen. Offer him a 3rd-round pick that'll probably get it done and get Hassan Reddick in the building because you need more pass rush to make up for this slow secondary that you have. And the defense, Steve Wilkes, who they fired this past season, which I agreed with. I didn't think he was the right fit for the Niners. They went with Nick Sorensen and Brandon Staley as like his mentor coach. It's kind of a weird situation there. Steve Wilkes was fired for giving up 17.5 points per game last year. So far, the Niners have given up 23 points per game under Sorensen and Staley this year. Right now, Steve Wilkes is getting the last laugh on the Niners. He's like, you guys want to get rid of me? Okay, I mean, these guys aren't doing any better. And somebody put up a stat saying, well, when D'Amico Ryans took over, he was giving up like 30 points a game. That was the year we were injured. Everybody was hurt. So yeah, he's going to give up points. He didn't have anybody. And then the year after that, dominant. Because he had the talent, and they weren't hurt. They basically had the whole year off. The Niners got to figure it out. They really do. And Trent Williams, I mean, look, his run blocking, he's 4th in the NFL out of 94 left tackles. He's 20th in pass blocking. So, I mean, he still had a good game, but you can't keep going down with cramps and getting tired. It's like, come on, man. Get into camp, get yourself in shape, and get out there and play ball. It's just unbelievable. I don't get it. They take on the New England Patriots this Sunday at home in Levi's. We'll talk about that game later in the show. And when we come back, because we're going to have to take a break. I need a break. So I just need to kind of figure myself out here. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Cal football, Stanford, San Jose State. We're going to go all college. We're going to stick with football and go with all college, leading off with the Cal Bears, who had another disappointing week after having a really good season so far. But it is what it is. Guys, you're listening to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Hey, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen B, host of the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in live to the Show of the Land on Tuesdays, where we will cover the Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Guardians, and Monsters. We will also talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets, Crew, Fury, and of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll also cover other colleges in the area like Akron, Kent State, Cleveland State, Mount Union, John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace, Youngstown State, among others. So like I said, if you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in Tuesdays to the Show of the Land with Jen B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
$34 past the hour here on the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We come back with another stat, more statistics, more scores is what we do here on the NorCal Sports Report. It's what we do here on IE Sports Radio. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We try to get this channel, IE Sports Radio, over 1,000 subs. I think we can easily do it with the arsenal of shows that we have covering sports from around the country. Definitely check out IE Sports Radio. Now let's talk about some college football. Let's talk about the Cal Bears. Now, the Cal Bears were 3-0. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the greatest season ever. We're in the ACC. And not only that, but we're going up against a team in Florida State that was 0-3. And so I'm thinking, hey, this is a great way to start the season. We go 3-0, and then we go 4-0. We take out the struggling Florida State Seminoles, and gosh darn it, they lost. Florida State won the game 14-9. Mendoza didn't have a bad game, But Fernando Mendoza went 22 of 36 for 300 yards, 1 pick. But the problem with Cal was that he got sacked 7 times. Like, oh my God, give him some time, please. Jaden Ott rushed for 73 yards, no touchdowns. Nazir Hunt only had 2 catches. Mason Starling had 5 catches. But the Florida State Seminoles really, really slowed down the Cal Bears offense. And I was really hoping Cal would go 4-0 in the ACC or 4-0 in their season and beat an ACC rival, a new rival of the ACC. But unfortunately was not to be. So the Cal Bears dropped to 3-1. Very disappointing loss for Cal because they really had a chance to make a name for themselves with a win in Florida State. And then the next game, which I believe is this Saturday. I could be wrong though. No, actually, I think it's they have a week off. But anyway, they're going to be going up against the Miami Hurricanes, and they're going to be going up against the Hurricanes at home in Cal at Berkeley, and College Game Day is going to be there. So this would have been a huge setup for Cal to really make some noise in the ACC. But unfortunately, they drop this game at a final score of 14-9. Now switching over to Stanford football. Stanford, they won their game against an ACC team in Syracuse. They won 26-24. This was a barn burner, a close game, and the Cardinal pulled it off at the end of the game with a field goal to win the game. And dude, this was awesome to see Stanford go into Syracuse and get that win in the ACC. Ashton Daniels went for he threw 23 of 38 for 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He was only sacked once. See, I'm telling you right now. Kyle McCord, 27 of 42, did not have a very good game. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He was sacked 4 times. Chris Davis Jr., he rushed for 79 yards off of 9 rushes. Ashton Daniels, the quarterback, he had 13 rushes for 45 yards. Receiving wise, Alec Ayomanor had 7 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown. The guy is balling out there. Ismail Cease, 8 catches for 49 yards. Trevor Pena of Syracuse, 10 catches, 101 yards. Guy was balling. And this was a fun game to watch. It was close, it was competitive, but Stanford pulled it out, and they win by a final score of 26-24. They moved to 2-1. And they're first in the ACC FBS. No. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, and then Syracuse, they dropped to 2-1. So good job on Stanford. I love seeing Stanford win. It's great. Great. Jumping on over to San Jose State. San Jose State Spartans had a barn burner of a game. They went to double overtime. And I'm like, come on, San Jose State. Can you go to 4-0? You can do this against Washington State, a former... Well, I should say one of the remaining teams in the Pac-12 until next season when a whole bunch of other teams join in. But unfortunately, they lost 54-52, and that was a freaking exciting game, man. You guys hadn't seen this game. If not, watch the stats online. It was fun. Emmett Brown, he threw 35 of 54 for 375 yards, 4 touchdowns and 2 picks. He had not that great of a game, but he had a lot of stats. He had a quarterback rating of 140, so he did pretty well. John Meter of Washington State, he was 26 of 46 for 390 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. He had a 147 quarterback rating. Floyd Chalk for the San Jose State Spartans went 11 rushes for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 big touchdowns. Emmett Brown, he also ran one in for a touchdown as well. Nick Nash, I don't know what more I can say about Nick Nash. Baller. 16 catches for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. The guy was everywhere, literally keeping them in this game. But unfortunately, San Jose State lost. It's such a disappointing loss. And such an exciting game. 54-52 was the final score. Washington State takes that game. Tough loss for the Spartans, but they will live to play another day. Let's jump over to the San Francisco Giants. Now, the Giants, look. I mean, I'm wearing my Giants shirt. I'm still a Giants fan. I love the Giants. But now that it seems that they're out of everything, thank you, Crooks. Love that, buddy. Ralph, again, thank you, despite the Niners loss. The 90s, thanks. You can make fun of them. It's fine. They sucked. They deserved it. They did. But the Giants won 6-3. Now, this is the crazy part. So they played the Royals over the weekend, and they swept them in a 3-game series, which I was like, whoa, what's going on? Now all of a sudden we're winning games? I thought we couldn't win anything. Well, they won. And then they go against an NL rival in the Arizona Diamondbacks, a team that at one point they were chasing. They were chasing to try and get that last and final wildcard spot. And this would have been an exciting series if they could have stayed in it, but they didn't because the team is lackluster, anemic offensively. But tonight, or yesterday, they won 6-3. Elliot Ramos went 1 for 5. Matt Chapman, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. He had an inside the park home run. Ever since ever since the Giants have signed Matt Chapman to his 6-year contract extension, the guy's been balling. And I'm so glad they were able to get that done. I'm so glad Buster Posey got that done. Not Farhan Zaidi. Buster Posey got that done. Let's make sure we get that right. Hayden Birdsong pitched 5 innings, struck out 6, only gave up 2 runs. He did good. Spencer Bivens, Eric Miller, Camilo Doval, they all did a really good job. And Ryan Walker came in for the save. He's got an ERA of 1.94, just killing it. So I think this team is set up for success for next year. I'm really happy with the way they're playing towards the end of the year. I think Grant McCray can be a really good outfielder. Jung-Hoo Lee will be back next year, and we lost him early on. That really hurt. That was our leadoff guy. But you got guys like Elliot Ramos who has emerged as our top player. Home runs, everything. 21 home runs, 70 RBIs. And this was a guy that didn't even start the year as a starter. He just emerged and said, screw that. You're not putting me back down. So we had home runs from Matt Chapman, Casey Schmidt, Michael Conforto, which I can't wait for him to get out of here. Conforto's numbers are very deceiving. If you looked at Michael Conforto's numbers, you'd be like, oh, this guy's good. 19 home runs and 6.3 RBIs, but he's batting .234. The guy's got to go. He's got to go. He's inconsistent with his bat, and they're paying him a ton of money. Luckily, it's the last year of his contract. Get him out of here. The Giants need to figure something out. The Giants need to get more bats. They need to get more offense. You had a year where you had both Logan Webb and Blake Snell. Now, granted, Snell was hurt for probably the first half of the year, but if I'm the Giants, you guys are going to think I'm crazy for this, but if I'm the Giants, I offer Blake Snell an extension. I want Snell, Webb, and Robbie Ray for one more year. That's a 3-headed monster. And then you match that with Kyle Harrison. Probably Hayden Birdsong, because we all know that, he's an up-and-coming pitcher. Or maybe you go with one of your prospects in that 5th spot. But I would love to see them retain Blake Snell. That's if Snell wants to come back here. But in order to do that, they got to sign some bats, and they got to get better all around the field. Get rid of Conforto. Yastrzemski's actually playing really well, but he can't be your starter. You got Tyler Fitzgerald, who was having a good year. He's batting .284 with 14 home runs and 31 RBIs. And scored 51 runs. So you got yourself another shortstop. It's just a matter of getting the right guys in here to help this offense. And that's what they got to do. As we get closer to the end of the season, I'll do a free agency breakdown and look at who the Giants should get. But right now, I really want Blake Snell to come back. I just don't think it'll happen. I think they're going to let him walk. And that's that. I mean, it is what it is. But the Giants win 6-3, and they have now won 4 in a row, which is great. I love seeing them play hard. But unfortunately, they've been eliminated from playoff contention. So there's that. I had to end it with that, right? Just had to hose it down. Let's talk about the Oakland. I can't call them the Oakland A's because they're just the A's these days. But the A's, who are having their last series in Oakland, they lost 7-4 to the Yankees. And this whole situation with the A's is just utter ridiculousness. John Fisher, the owner, needs to freaking sell the team. I cannot believe that Major League Baseball is going to let this team play in a AAA ballpark. It's unbelievable. I don't know how they allowed it to happen. You got to step in and say, no, you're not doing that. Go sit down and go back to Oakland. It doesn't make any sense. The guy cannot get a contract worked out. The guy's super cheap. John Fisher, the owner. It's just sad what they're doing to the Oakland A's franchise. You have a beloved franchise in Oakland, and you're just shitting it away because you want to move to Vegas, even though Vegas doesn't really want you. It doesn't make any sense. And now you're going to go play at Rivercat Stadium, Rayleigh Field in Sacramento? Like, what are you doing? That makes zero sense. The A's are a joke right now. It's really sad what's become of the A's. It's just sad, man. An historic franchise just being shat on by its owner. An absolute joke. John Fisher's a joke. He released a statement thanking the fans and how he wishes he could talk to every single A's fan and tell them how much he loves the team. Dude, blow it out your ass. You didn't write that. It was fake. You're full of shit. And you need to sell the team. Because you don't care about winning. You're just a cheap ass. Cheap. Okay, before we take our next break, let's run over the 3C2A scores. We got San Joaquin Delta taking on Sequoias. Sequoias won 58-7. This is 3C2A football. 58-7. Sequoias beats San Joaquin Delta. San Jose, they won 40-27 over Siskiyous. I can't pronounce it. I butchered that name. Larry's like, God, learn how to read. San Francisco, they lost 30-14 to Butte. Butte's 3-0. San Francisco 0-3. Man, you guys are getting smashed. Fresno City beat American River 14-10. Fresno City moves to 4-0. American River 1-3. Urgh. Redwoods, they got smoked by Monterey Peninsula 21-7. Modesto overtook San Mateo CSM 23-20. My wife's alma mater, which went to UC Davis. But before that, she went to CSM. So just want to throw that out there real quick. Santa Rosa versus Contra Costa got canceled, probably due to I would say weather, but I'm not sure why it just got canceled. They don't give an explanation on here. Sac City took on Sierra. They lost 23-13. Sierra moves to 1-2, and Sac City, the loser, goes to 2-1. And that actually, here it is. Bakersfield. Oh my God. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this game. I was like, holy cow, Bakersfield, calm down. Just calm down. Bakersfield won 65-0. They scored 38 points in the first quarter. My God. San Bernardino Valley was like, can we just get out of here? Come on. Just leave us alone. But they win 65-0. And they moved to 2-1. And lastly, Merced, they lost to Los Mendanos 27-24. Guys, when we come back, we're going to break down the upcoming matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the New England Patriots. And boy, do they need to win bad. Bad. Because this last loss, it was not for the faint at heart. It was pretty bad. I was pissed all day. Couldn't believe it. You're listening to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cal Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR. And you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter at any time. Be happy to reply. Always willing to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey yo, what's up? It's your man Bishop, the voice of This Is KC Sports, the show where we go over the Chiefs, the Royals, KC Current, Sporting KC, MU, and oh yeah, if we got time, we'll even throw in some of that KU stuff for my people on the 913 South. Come hang out with us every Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
There we go. 52 minutes past the hour here on NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So let's talk about the Niners. I know I had it up earlier, but we're going to talk about the Niners. In fact, we're going to... I just deleted it. That's great. We're going to talk about the upcoming matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the New England Patriots. Let me pull that up. There we go. 49ers versus Patriots. This is a game, again, the Niners should win. They're a more talented team. They're a deeper team. We should probably have George Kittle back. Maybe Deebo Samuel, probably not, because after this game, the Niners have a bye week. And looking at total defense so far this year in the 2024 season, the Niners are a 16th ranked defense. They should be in the top 5, but they're underperforming badly. The Patriots, Patriots are ranked 19th in defense, so still not good. Against the passer passing defense, there's so many teams on here. It's so hard. The Niners are 20th, which they deserve because they've been horrible on defense. And the Patriots are 27th. How about against the run? Niners are 9th against the run, averaging 104 yards a game. That's terrible. Cannot be getting up over 100 yards a game on the ground. Come on, guys. But the Patriots, they're 5th in the league against the run. Only giving up 83 yards, only allowed 3 touchdowns. So you're going to have a harder time running than throwing against the Patriots, but you're a better team than the Patriots. Total offense, the Niners are the 3rd best team in the league. They're ranked number 3 with 407 yards and 7 touchdowns. They're behind the Eagles and the Ravens. The Patriots, on the other hand, they are the worst ranked team. They are ranked 32 out of 32 teams on offense. The Niners should be able to dominate them defensively. Now, when it comes to Nick Sorensen, I don't know if he can. When it comes to Brian Schneider, our special teams coach, I would have fired him after the game. The way they play on special teams. But they got to figure this out because this cannot be the second game in a row that special teams causes the team to lose. And the defense, they cannot look unprepared, unplanned. Stafford never looked confused. He never looked frustrated. He always looked in command. Whatever scheme Sorensen's coming up with, it's not working. And I'm going to say this right now. If the Niners lose this game because of their lackluster defense, then I think that coming off the bye week, Brandon Staley needs to be the defensive coordinator and Nick Sorensen needs to get demoted. If Sorensen cannot figure it out in this game. Because you got the Patriots, then you got a bye week. So this is it. And after the bye week, you get a bunch of players back. Obviously, you get Deebo back. You're going to get Kittle back for sure. So that's going to help out a hell of a lot more. You're going to get Ricky Pearsall back. You're going to get a whole bunch of talent back. And I'm telling you right now, Ronnie Bell needs to be cut. But the Niners are a better team offensively than the Patriots are. I mean, we know that already. The Patriots against the pass, they are ranked. Oh my God, where is it? They're the 8th best team against the pass at 144 yards. We're the 10th best. I'm sorry, this is offense. They're the Patriots are the 8th best passing team. We're the 10th best passing team, which is kind of crazy to think about. And then scoring offense, Niners are ranked 9th, and the Patriots are ranked 31st. So look, Patriots can't score. If the Niners can't contain the Patriots, then we got a problem. And they may even start Drake May in this game. Who knows? If you're going to start any team or any young quarterback against any team, might as well be the Niners because they suck right now. Just attack them by the air. But we'll see who they go with. But the Niners need to turn this game around. They need to win this game in dominant fashion. They're going to be at home. They need to set the precedent for the rest of the league. And they need to show that, hey, look, this team, we're better than you. We're going to beat you because you are better. You have more talent on your squad. And the way they lost the Vikings, I can accept that. Still a lot of fuck-ups, but I can accept that. But the way you lost the Rams, unacceptable. And now you're getting another team that's not very good, that you should be able to dominate. And if that doesn't happen on Sunday, next Tuesday, heads will roll. Heads will roll. Because Nick Sorensen, like I said before, needs to be held accountable for how lackluster his defense have looked, how unprepared the defense looks. Offenses are carving them up. So something has to change. And I'm saying it right now, if they do not make a difference in this game, if they have the same kind of performance they did against the Rams or even the Vikings, I think you swap Nick Sorensen for Brandon Staley and you move forward that way. Brandon Staley won a Super Bowl with the Rams as their defensive coordinator. So the guy has experience. That's my prediction. If we lose this game because of the defense, they're going to swap those two out. And as for Brian Schneider, the special teams coach, you better figure this out too. We can't have 2 games in a row that we lose because of special teams. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. They spent so much money bringing in guys to help bolster the special teams, and they still can't get it done. It's bad coaching. Bad coaching. They gotta shore that up. Okay, so let's do one more. What is my score prediction for the Niners against the Patriots? This is my score prediction for the Niners and the Patriots. Call me a homer. I don't care. 31-17 Niners. Brock has already shown that he can ball with whoever's out there. And this is a team that is not very good against the run, not very good against the pass. I think Brock's going to carve these guys up. And we're going to win 30. This is the one we should have got this past week. But I'm going to predict 31-17 Niners this Sunday against the New England Patriots at Levi Stadium. And if they don't get this win, woo, it's going to be bad. Like I said, heads will roll. If special teams is a problem again, Schneider, you're out. Simple as that. Nick Sorensen used to be a special teams coordinator. If you can't figure out the defense, I'll be okay, you're going to go to special teams. Staley, you're going to be our D coordinator. And Schneider, you're fired. Because we can't be losing games because of our special teams and because of our defense. Our defense that we spent so much money on. And now, granted, we're down Javon Hargrave, but he really hasn't been doing all that much. He's been a big disappointment, is what he has been. So I would imagine Jordan Elliott is probably going to start in his place, who's better against the run anyway. And we know that Hargrave sucks against the run. Hargrave is used to having a 5-man front with the Eagles, and that's where he got his 12.5 sacks. So we'll see how they perform without Hargrave. I actually think, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, I think they'll perform better without Hargrave. I think they'll be better against the run. And that's where they really need to shore things up. But I'm going to predict a Niners win 31-17 because the Patriots can't score. Now, the Patriots had, Matthew Stafford. That's a little different. But Jacoby Brissett, I don't think he's going to do it. Drake May, I don't think so either, but you never know. Any given Sunday, right? But my prediction is going to be 31-17 Niners this Sunday against the New England Patriots. They better get this win, or I'm going to fucking flip out so hard next week if we don't get this win. You better tune in. If we win, I'm going to cheer. I'm going to praise them. It's going to be great. I think they get the win. I think they will. But we'll see. Guys, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank everyone who came out here today. I want to thank all 71 who are watching right now. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the IE Sports Radio YouTube channel. We're trying to get that channel over 1,000 subscribers, which we can do that. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Check out planetjerky.net if you want to pick up an order of Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. We're brought to you by Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Go to iSportsRadio.com/Seal the Deal Wax Seals and make your first purchase. The Niners have some work to do, and they got to get back in this. And they're going to do it this Sunday against the Patriots, who are anemic on offense. And if they don't, like I said, heads will roll. Make sure to check out iSportsRadio.com/shop to get some merchandise. And check out iSportsRadio.com for all the other shows that are listed. Follow me at NorCal Sports Report IE on X and on my personal account, Dre Area Sports. And subscribe to my channel, Dre Area Sports, on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next week for the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll see you guys next week. Peace!